Delaware makes national news for bailing out its casino industry. Wait a second. The whole reason for having casinos is to bring money to the state. If it costs a state money, why have them? We'll ask that question to the state representatives who debated and finally passed the bailout. This is the Delaware way. Hi, I'm Larry Menti. It was the bailout that made national news, the Washington Post, USA Today, and we want to talk to several representatives today. We should point out ahead of time that the representatives we're going to talk to all voted no on the bailout. And we're going to start with the chair of the Gaming and Parimutuel Committee. I was worried about getting that right. Okay, Charles Potter, who is a representative in northern Delaware in Newcastle County. Sir, explain this bailout to me. Give me the details.
The bailout actually was to give 3 casinos money to help them survive, so they say.
But where does the money come from? Who's losing money so they can get money?
Well, those are taxpayers' dollars that are going to the casinos to help them out. You know, I don't believe that, and I never believed that Delaware should have a monopoly on 3 casinos, and we can talk more about that.
What do you mean they shouldn't have 3 casinos?
Well, a monopoly, you know, because I believe in an open market. I believe we should have a couple more casinos for competition.
Let's talk specifically about the bailout. How much money are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about, I'm going to give you round numbers, the first year about $10 million. At my Gaming and Parimutuel Committee meeting, I had the comptroller come in, and we talked about the impact it would have on the state for the next couple of years. 10 the first year, 11 the second year, I believe somewhere around 12 million the third year, because this is a 3-year deal.
I thought they were coming back to you next year. How is this a 3-year deal if they're coming back next year?
The deal was set for 3 years, but we're going to have a commission that will come back together to take a look at the casinos as a whole.
Last year they came for a bailout, right?
Yes.
And that was supposed to be it. That was the bailout to end all bailouts, right?
That's what they said.
And then they come back again, and you give them 3. I say you, but I mean the collective you. I know you voted against it. And then you give them 3 years of money for a 3-year bailout. So they've been bailed out now for 4 years.
That's what's taking place right now.
But
let me say this: there is an impact on the budget that the casinos bring in a certain amount of monies. They do bring that in, but at the same time, I think they should survive on their own.
Is there a surplus of money coming to the state even with the $10 million bailout?
Even with the bailout and them having their problems, the state is getting some financial impact from it.
How much?
It's over, I think it's about over 100 million.
All right, so you bring in 100 million and then you...
If I'm not correct, we'll get the right number for
you. You kick them back 10. It's almost like a tip.
It's not a tip. But for instance, there's a percentage. We get like 43% of the money that comes in, and they get about 38, and then the horsemen get a certain share, and then there are vendor fees.
I really want to bring the other representatives in, but before we do that, I guess what I needed to get from you, since you're the chair, what I really wanted to get from you was specifically where this money is coming from. So it's about $10 million for the first year.
Right.
What pots are you taking from to give them the money?
Well, this past year, and I'm going to wait to get my colleague out here, it's coming from the vendor fees. It's coming from the vendor fees. And then we also took $3.5 million where we had a project that was planned for a sports complex to use that money.
Does that mean the sports complex doesn't happen?
No, what we're saying is that we will give them that money at the right time. But right now, since they're not shovel ready, we're going to use those dollars.
You know what I'm getting at? Why I'm trying to figure out where the money is coming from is because I'm trying to figure out who's suffering, because there's certainly people in the state could use money.
Well, I believe the fact that we cut over $40 million from education, health and social service dollars, and then we also went out, the governor, and we're borrowing $20 million for infrastructure. I believe the citizens are suffering doing this for the casinos.
Okay, you said a moment ago I want to get my colleagues out here. Let's do that, because I would like to hear from all of you on how this happened, and one of you is going to have to give me the argument from the other side. Why somebody would vote yes for this, because this obviously is now passed 2 years in a row.
I'll leave that to my colleague, because I can only say no to everything.
All right. We'll leave it to someone else to say yes. When we come back, we'll hear from more representatives who were in the body that passed this bailout, but we should point out again, they voted no when the Delaware way continues.